What? Yes. Robert Pera has never put any money in. Even the Adams family, and I'm working on this, I want to see. The Adams family, they're building that new brand spanking fantastic stadium for the Titans in Nashville. The state has given a bunch of money, I think $500 million for that. Right? The Adams family, which is not worth the amount of money that Robert Pera is. Robert Pera's getting $19 billion. I think the Adams family has like $2-3 billion, something like that. So they're 1/6 or 1/7 the wealth of Robert Pera. They're putting up, I want to say it was matching money. They're putting up like $500 million. I may be wrong about this, but I think that's right. Robert Pera's never put any money into anything here. Nothing. And yet, he made it sure seem like, call my bluff, but I'll move if I don't get 2/3 of the money. Well, if I don't get all the money, really. And then they agreed, after Fred Smith was the peacemaker, that they would take 2/3 of the money because they know they'll find a way to get the rest of the money. I think Robert Pera ought to give some money, considering he is worth $19 billion. Put up something. Be a part of the community. Show some investment in the city, not just your pocketbook. $19 billion, wow. But the good news is this. Memphis now will get the stadium they need. Does that propel them into a Power 5? We'll see. Does it make the chances better? I think so. We'll see. But it's needed, and I love it that the school will now be in charge of the building. And I think that is an essential, and it was all done thanks to Fred Smith. And I don't think there's any problem with the other tenants of that building, and I think that was part of what Fred Smith wanted, because Fred Smith loves football. Fred was at one point a owner of the Washington Commanders, as you all know. And that's it. He has a love of football, and I think he wanted this because he was a big proponent for the USFL to come back. Part of the reason they're in Memphis is that he wanted them here. He loves the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He does have an affinity for the Southern Heritage Classic, I'm under the impression. And so all four of those entities will be safe in a building that needs to be redone. I mean, I personally, if you sit in that stadium, the sight lines are about as good as any stadium you can get. It needs tweaks. It needs the new concourses. It needs the new premium suites. They're probably going to move the press box to the other side. That's still not going to be ideal, but it will work. And I'm certainly hoping $220 million will be enough. I think it will be. And now the good news is, since I think the city council is voting the okay of this today, with the Grizzlies giving their blessings on it, I think the council will make this a slam dunk. And so this will begin the renovations right after the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on December the 29th. So that is fantastic news. Now, look, it's not all done. Fred's given $50 million. Now the university's got to raise an additional $50 million. So it's funny. The university has to come up with $100 million. 50 of it's coming from Fred. And then they got to find other ways to raise money, and the Grizzlies are just going to get all the rest. But that's the way life works, and hopefully it works for both sides. So we'll be talking about this. I am efforting as hard as I can to try to get literally 24 hours from this very moment Fred Smith on the show. I would love to hear his vision for all of this. When Cannon Smith, his son, was playing for the Tigers, there were many a night in a hotel where I had a chance to discuss college football and the world with Fred Smith, and would love to do that on the radio with all of you guys tomorrow. Did you see yesterday Josh Pastner? He's becoming a star. Did you see him?
No.
He was doing the morning/afternoon studio for ESPN of the Maui Classic. And you know what? He was good. Like, he was really good. I had to text him and tell him that. Because honestly, he was, when he was a coach here, and he was young, let's face it, this was his first opportunity. But he was a cliche guy, like winning is hard. And he would repeat that. And he got stuck in cliches, and he had the insight, but he didn't always give you the insight. Well, on this studio show yesterday, and I got to tell you, stats alerted me, and I got to see it to believe it, because I was thinking there's no way that he is going to be as good as he was, and he was. And again, I texted him, good for you, and I think he's really excited about this. I'm happy for him, because this could be a new kind of thing. He's been a head coach for a long time. He's made a lot of money, so that's not an issue. And if he wants to go back to coaching, I'm certain he can do that at some point in time. But this is good for him, and he seemed to really be invigorated. Yesterday, Monday Night Football, and then to Week 11, we had a Super Bowl repeat, and it was a heck of a game. But my gosh, and I can't wait to talk with Jeff Moore about this, that was the biggest giveaway of a game I've ever seen. You realize the Eagles, we got to get a hold of Mike DeCourcy, by the way. The Eagles had 100 less yards, 6 minutes less of possession time, but Kansas City just gave them the game with turnovers, fumbles deep in their territory, interception in the end zone. Just gave them the game away. And it's 6 drops at least that would have made a difference, including the game, what would have been the game leader with about a minute left to go, on a beautiful pass from Mahomes that the guy just dropped. I mean, 6 of those drops, including Kelsey having a couple. It was just, Chiefs gave that one away. We'll talk about that with Jeff Moore. So many upsets going on all across the college basketball landscape. We're going to talk with Mike DeCourcy, our Hall of Famer from the Sporting News, in a minute. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure studio. I know through this weekend, through Thanksgiving, we got the overstock sale going on with select patio furniture up to 50% off. $2,000 really under that for play gyms. That's amazing. Extended sale pricing on all the in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. New stuff coming in. They got to get rid of the old, so take advantage at I-40 and Whidden Road, where the overstock sale continues at least through Thanksgiving at Family Leisure. Our title sponsor is Genesis of Olive Branch. That's at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78, Lamar in Memphis. You know it so well. You've been there a bunch. Now you got to go see a guy named Vinny. Vinny Gerard is over the Genesis selection there at Genesis of Olive Branch, and they've got deals on the SUVs. That's the GV70, the GV80. There's a sale price on both and special financing options if you're interested. Go see Vinny. Tell him we sent you. You'll love the experience at Genesis of Olive Branch. Let's head to Indianapolis. For all I know, he could be in Maui, but it's very early there. Good morning, Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News. How are you today?
I am well. Where are you?
I'm in Memphis. I'm in studio. Okay. I am leaving on Thanksgiving Day. Not for Atlantis, which I'd love to be. No, Philly for a football game.
I see.
But I will be in Maui next year. I hope Maui's
Who made that call? I don't get it.
Well, that goes back a long way, but I'm working on it. My question for you, seriously, and it has not been answered by anything. I've done so many good stories. A beautiful piece that was actually narrated by Bill Walton yesterday on Maui and the firefighters and just the Lahaina story, everything that's in there. Espen's doing a great job of raising money and telling the story and the history and everything else. They have not said, will Maui be played in Maui next year? What are you hearing?
Well, the mayor was interviewed by their sideline reporter, and the mayor said that he wanted it back there next year. It's a full year. Maui needs the tourism, not necessarily from the tournament, but they need They thrive off of tourist income, so they certainly need the tourists to return, and that would obviously include the Civic Center. Now, if the Civic Center that would include the tournament, the Maui Invitational. If the Civic Center had burned, then we might be having a different conversation.
Right.
But the Civic Center was intact. They actually used it as a way station, shelter, etc. during the fire period. So the Civic Center is intact. It's just a question of the infrastructure and all of that. And I think it'll be back there next year. I hope dearly that it is, because it means then some sense of normalcy will return to one of my favorite places on earth. I've been to Maui, I think 3 or 4 times. I've been to the tournament twice, and it's just a magical place. I wrote about it when I talked to their football coach about the challenge of this season, the University of Hawaii football program, and what they can do for Maui, et cetera, and we're doing. And I remembered writing that when I was in downtown Lahaina, I literally thought it was like the safest place on earth. I mean, that like nothing bad could happen to you there, and unfortunately, it finds us everywhere.
Yeah, I've been to at least 3, and I think it's actually 4 of the Maui Classics. And I was in there before they actually had any air conditioning in the Maui gym. Now
yes, I was there for that.
Yeah.
For one of those. Yes. Billy Baino sweated through the former Calipari assistant who was then coach at UNLV. Sweated through every item of clothing he had on. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
And I love it. First of all, I love Maui. And, the infrastructure is interesting. I think, so where Lahaina Civic Center is where these games are played, that's up like the hill, and it was unaffected. And I think most of the hotels are by the Black Rock, where the Sheraton is, and there's several big hotels that are right along that beachfront. I don't think that was affected either. So I think by infrastructure, it will be okay. I think they have to rebuild that downtown section, that historic section, and and you have to be respectful of the grieving. And I think that's a big reason why they definitely said we're going to have it, because we need people coming to Hawaii, but we're going to move it to Oahu and Honolulu this year because it's just too soon. I think that's really it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's definitely true. I think if they really wanted to pull it off this year, they probably could have, but it wasn't. This was the right thing to do. It was right to move it to Honolulu. They had to really work around, because the Sand Sheriff Center is a busy arena and had other things going on, and they had to work really hard to make sure that everybody was accommodated. But it just was the right thing to do to give Maui a chance to continue rebuilding. They told some beautiful stories. There was one I saw yesterday about a husband and wife who were separated during the fire, and how she survived, what she did to survive, and how she sat there and all she thought about was that more than anything, she didn't care how burned she got. She cared about making sure her husband knew where she was.
Yeah, I saw that story.
It was beautiful. And
the story of the young kid who saved all the firefighters by going into a police car and smashing through a thing to get more people, a bigger car to get everybody out of their fire truck. It was a beautiful story. What bravery. Wow.
Yeah,
and the thing amazed me about that was the guy said, you don't teach bravery like that. You just have it. And that young kid, wow.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And I give ESPN a ton of credit for doing such. I had no doubt that they would do a beautiful job of communicating the importance of Maui, the beauty of Maui, the warmth of Maui, and why all this matters so much. I had no doubt that they would, and I think I think that in what they've uncovered, they've surpassed my expectations even.
Did you see Josh Pastner?
I did.
Now,
Josh.
You're an analyst too, so I want your take on Josh.
Well, I saw him briefly because I was shuffling through the Purdue game, the Indiana game, the U.S. soccer I was covering last night. So I was really flipping around. I just saw, and I didn't really get a chance to listen. But he's working there, which surprised me because I didn't realize he was doing that. I knew he was working at Peacock. He's working alongside one of my other good friends, Jordan Cornette, two people that I've literally known since they were in high school, both of them, and they are now the analyst team at Peacock for Big Ten basketball and other whatever other basketball they do there. Josh, I will be interested to see how critical Josh is, because he's like the literal loveliest person on earth, and so will he be willing to pick apart a decision here or there? That'll be interesting to see, because I'm not the literal loveliest person on earth, Dave. So I don't have any problem saying when something didn't go right.
Well, that'll be interesting. Will he criticize a coaching move? I agree with that. We'll have to wait and see. I was impressed with him because I did not think he would be as good as he was, and texted him such. So,
oh, good.
I'm proud for Josh. I really am. All right, new polls out. Tigers in the coaches at 23, just missed. Also receiving votes would be 26 in the AP poll. Do you think Memphis belongs in the top 25?
As much as anybody else does. I mean, the Missouri win on the road, good win. The Mizzou Tigers went up to Minnesota and were getting buried and came back 20 down. So they showed that they do have some value as a basketball team. Memphis is one of the teams that has a chance to be that basically, if they play to what their average is, they'll be in the tournament. If they play to their what their talent level and coaching suggests they should be in the tournament as solidly as they were the last 2 years. If they get better, if they maybe if they find a real chemistry and a real toughness, and I'm not saying they don't have those things, I'm just saying they haven't had the opportunity to see them yet. But if they find those things, I mean, they could do better than that. They could. They were in the 8-9 game each of the last 2 years, and I think this is a very open season. And so there's a possibility that the Tigers could do better than that.
You mentioned Missouri. Of course, they lost then to Jackson State. We've seen Michigan lose, Arkansas lose. We've seen FAU lose to Bryant and a former Tiger in Earl Timberlake. Last night, Kentucky could have lost to St. Joseph. St. Joseph, by the way, got kind of the raw end of the deal. They should have had a timeout with about 2 seconds left. Now they would have had to hit open a prayer shot, but they didn't get that opportunity. But at home, Kentucky struggles with St. Joseph's. Why are we seeing so much of this? And will this be the theme of 23-24?
Well, I think, first of all, Dave, we have to remember that this is the new norm in college basketball, that everybody is putting it together now. I mean, how many intact or nearly intact teams are there? Purdue was probably what one would call nearly intact. Michigan State was nearly intact, and yet they lost at home to James Madison. So that everybody's kind of trying to put it together and feel out like what they can be and what's good for them and what they can make happen. What system works best for these guys? What tweaks do we have to make to the system that we choose? Because there's almost nobody that doesn't have half or more than half of their roster that's new. And some of them, the freshmen, are new to college basketball, but even the ones who aren't are new to their teams and their programs and their coaches, and they don't know exactly they don't always know exactly how to play to their best level.
Going to be fun. That's what I think. In the end, this is going to be a significant year because, well, Kansas looks like they're better than everybody. I'm going to give you that one.
I will tell you, Dave, I don't agree with that at all.
You don't?
I do not.
Wow.
No, I was in the arena when Kansas played Kentucky, and Kansas has 3 terrific players.
They do.
2 magnificent players and 1 very good player in Kevin McCullers. Their center, Hunter Dickinson, their point guard, DeJuan Harris. Those guys are great.
They are.
But what else? What else? You're going to win the national championship with 3 dudes? Nobody's done that.
If you got 3 with 2 good, decent role players.
Do they? They didn't have them that night.
I'll tell you what, Josh Pastern came out strong on Tennessee saying that they would win the Maui. We got some good games today with that. Well, you got Purdue.
Yes.
You got Tennessee's got Purdue today and Edie, and I would say I would favor Tennessee in that game. Then Marquette and Kansas, and Marquette's a good team, 4th in the country. I love that point guard. Everybody does.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Kansas is absolutely going to run away and hide, but I would have to say they're my favorites for sure.
I think UConn has shown much more depth. Variety of scoring ability, greater understanding of what they need to be, and they are playing without their most talented player right now, Stephon Castle, who's a top 10 lottery type player who has been hurt so far for the start of the year. I mean, he might have played in one of the games, I'm not sure, but for the most part hasn't played. That he's shooting for, actually, the two teams we're arguing about right now, Kansas and Connecticut, will play on December 1st.
Right.
And that's what Castle told ESPN's Myron Metcalf, that he's shooting to be back ready for that game. I'm not saying that Kansas's guys won't get there, but like they were a 3-man team against Kentucky. The other two on the floor and the other 4 or 5 guys in the rotation, it wasn't there, and they didn't look like they were ready to be successful. The other guys, and again, they could get there. He's the best coach in college basketball right now, Bill Self. So they very well could get there, but I'm not overwhelmed at the moment by what they have.
All right. So Marquette and Kansas today. Who wins that game? Who do you like in Purdue and Tennessee?
Yeah, I think Kansas will probably win. I didn't like Marquette last night against UCLA. I didn't think they played very well. Some of that was UCLA playing really well. UCLA is better than people realized at the beginning of the year, including me. And part of that is it's hard to evaluate international players when you've never seen them. You can obviously for the coaches that go out there, and some of the people like Jonathan Gavoni of ESPN, who goes all around the world looking at players on for the sake of ESPN's draft coverage. We don't all have that luxury. So the guys that they have that are international players didn't really know what they were going to get. Dembona has made a huge step forward for UCLA, so that was a better challenge than I thought. But I have to see more from Marquette. So eventually they'll be good enough to beat a Kansas, but I don't think today. And I like Purdue against Tennessee. He's just such a problem. And I thought when I saw them play Xavier last week in person that Purdue looked a little bit, I don't want to use the word bored, but they just didn't look like it. They had that feeling of, gosh, nothing's really going to matter until March because of what we did last year. And then the Maui Invitational is perfect for them. It's like, really? Okay, we're going to hit you in the head with a sledgehammer 3 times, see if that matters to you.
Yeah, right.
And they responded yesterday, a terrific challenge from Gonzaga. They responded with a great second half. So I will go with them, but it'll be a fabulous game.
And in 10 seconds, for Memphis, Michigan.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting game for the Tigers. Michigan had a really bad game after a really good game. Watch out for their point guard, Doug McDaniel. Excellent player. Needs a lot to go with him, but they appear early in the season to have a good bit of it. It'll be a great game.
He's our Hall of Famer. He's Mike DeCourcy. Happy Thanksgiving to you and
Happy
Deb.
Thanksgiving, you too.
I know. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good, Dave.
All right. That is our guy. That is Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News. He's brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, always there for you. Conway, those reputable services, always on hand. 384-3511. Back in a minute, Jeff Moore will join us on the National Football League.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and this year it happened on October 17th. I had my first gentleman ask me what he should get his special lady for Christmas, and my answer was this: get her something she will enjoy and get her something she will absolutely love. Think about her likes and her dislikes. You might even ask her what she wants. Then, come let us show you the finest, most beautiful jewelry in Memphis. This will be our 38th Christmas, and for many of our customers, they've been with us for every one of those 38 years. They come looking for beautiful gifts, fine jewelry that makes a lady's eyes sparkle, but they also know that they will receive quality and service that is unsurpassed in Memphis. And at Russell Brothers, you can play St. Nick knowing that if you don't make the right choice, our money-back guarantee will allow her the ability to exchange her gift for one that she really does love, or she gets your money back. For 5 decades, we've helped thousands of Santas. We'd love to help you. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Hi, this is Greg Gaston. This year, FanDuel's got something you'll really be thankful for. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. With so many games going on, Thanksgiving is the perfect time to join. Rivalry games like the Cowboys and Commanders, gotta love Dallas. And how about the Lions? The way they're playing, I think they'll take care of the Packers in another rivalry game. So visit FanDuel.com/Gasman and fill up your plate with parlays and player props all weekend long. And not just the NFL. College football, college hoops, and the NBA as well. FanDuel, official partner of the National Football League. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, serving the official barbecue of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Black Friday is now a game day. The Dolphins take on the Jets in the first ever Black Friday NFL game. Stream for free only on Prime. Black Friday football. Dolphins versus Jets. Coverage begins this Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on Prime. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/watch Black Friday football for details.
Memphis music legends, the Bar-Kays, will be at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there too. The Bar-Kays will be performing the music that made Memphis at the President's Gala on December 28th at the Peabody, and at halftime of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl game on December 29th.
Everybody say, so big up.
Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We put Week 11 of the NFL to bed in a minute with our Jeff Moore. He's brought to you by Southern Security, your home team credit union. You know, we're talking 70 years of building things in this community, of being there for all of the Mid-South with unbeatable rates, low fees, the best of service, the newest in technology. If you're a business owner, if you need an auto loan, if you need better benefits on your credit card, at Southern Security, they can handle all of your business banking needs, and they do it just so beautifully. They are like family. They really are. Like, if you want to talk to somebody, you can call them. You can go on their website, like all the other places. You can go to southernsecurity.org. But if you want to talk to a team member, it's simple. 901-452-7900. They like to get to know you. It is really special. And they've been doing it for such a long time. Southern Security, your home team credit union. Jeff Moore joins us now. We had a Super Bowl repeat. It wasn't exactly super. I've never seen so many giveaways. The Chiefs fumbled inside the 5. They intercepted in the end zone about to score. They had at least 6 drops, including what would have been the game leader with about a minute left to go. Just a sheer drop on a beautiful throw by Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they handed that game to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are now at 9-1 on the year. It was incredible.
It was incredible. And it was, a tough place for the Eagles to. I give them credit for coming into Kansas City under those weather conditions and playing the way they played. But you're right. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had put them in a position to win that game, and the drops were just unbelievable. They're leading the league in drop passes this year.
26, I think, going into that game. So now they're in the 30s.
Absolutely, yeah. It was unfortunately a tough situation for Kansas City. a game that Philadelphia was able to hold on and win at the end. But it's going to be interesting. I think right now it appears that those could be the two teams that we see in the Super Bowl going forward. We'll just have to see. But Philadelphia was very fortunate to come out of there with a W.
I'm with you. But both teams should probably be 8-2. I think we're on a collision course. I think they're the two best teams in the league, but this is the NFL. You never know. Here's some teams, as we are, again, through Week 11. We're looking at teams we thought would be solidly maybe in that appear to be out. In the AFC, Buffalo, Indy, and Cincinnati. Will any of those three make the playoffs?
I don't think either one of those three will. The Bills were they played and won a game that they really needed to win against the Jets. But Zach Wilson, unfortunately, 81 yards passing. That Jets offense has not scored. I think it's taken them 60-something quarters. They've just been pathetic on offense, and their defense is just getting worn out because their offense just can't keep the ball and keep the defense off the field. I think the Bills are going to struggle. Josh Allen was okay in that game. He had 3 touchdown passes, but didn't have the turnovers that he's been having. But it's going to be a challenge for the Bills to get in there. I certainly think it's going to be an uphill battle for them.
And then both the quarterbacks at Indy and Cincy are gone. The Joe Burrow thing, man, I really feel for him. It's not his fault, but the guy can't last a whole year, any season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and he really had them playing much bet and they were on a light roll as far as the way that they were performing offensively. But that Ravens team, I think, is a team that is kind of slightly flying under the radar. But Lamar Jackson's been consistent. They're running the ball extremely well. Their defense is pretty good. I think the Ravens could very easily be a team that Kansas City will need to face and challenge.
Yeah.
As we get further into the season because offensively they're playing so well.
In the NFC, obviously Philadelphia we thought would be good. Dallas is playing quite well. The two teams that maybe we thought might still be really decent teams that are looking on the outside in would be the Rams and the Packers. Neither of them are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think either one of those teams is going to make the playoffs. The teams that I'm excited about in NFC, though, are Detroit, and of course the 49ers look like they're back to their winning ways as far as they're concerned. They won a game. Brock Purdy had almost a perfect game.
I know it.
Perfect passing game in that game, and he's playing with a lot of consistency. So I think that those are going to be the teams that really emerge is the 49ers. And, of course, the Lions. And the Lions have not lost a lot in the last couple of years. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You okay?
Yes.
Okay. New York Jets, bench, Zach Wilson. This is your former giddy team that you were crazy about.
Right.
They give up on Zach Wilson. They go to Tim Boyle. Obviously, I think it's going to be a little too much too late. But what does that do for this team and their psyche?
It's going to be difficult. We've seen news reports that Aaron Rodgers thinks he'll be able to practice the first week of December. They're a team that's demoralized right now. I mean, offensively, they can't do anything. Their defense is good, but they're just getting overworked. It's going to be a challenge for this coaching staff to be able to get these guys up and able to play with any kind of consistency. And I got to believe there's a reason why they had Zach Wilson out there instead of the other guy. So it's going to be uphill for them. And I don't see them being able to make it. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be injured. Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles.
I wouldn't. Would you take a chance on Aaron Rodgers when it doesn't really look like you're going to make the playoffs? Would you just say, all right, we're going to give you the full rest and we'll come back and we'll be full bore next year?
No. I would do exactly. I would just give him the rest.
Yeah,
and just and look to come back next year, because it's just going to be an uphill climb for this team as we get further into the playoffs. And with this new alignment in the AFC, I mean, it's highly unlikely that they're going to even make the playoffs. So, there would be no benefit to bringing him back at the end in December.
The Steelers today fired their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. They're 6-4. They're still very much in the mix here to make the playoffs. In fact, if it started today, they'd be in as a wild card team. Mm-hmm. Does that make a difference? We saw the Bills do that last week with their OC.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, they were running the ball. Matter of fact, in their game against the Browns, they really were very productive offensively running the football. The Browns defense just gave up or was able to kind of contain their passing game, and that was really the difference in that game, because, of course, the Browns are playing without their starting quarterback because of injury. I don't know if that's going to be enough for them. Certainly, I think the Steelers could still be in the hunt, just, again, because of the realignment with the playoffs. But I don't know that making that change at offensive coordinator is going to be the answer for them at this point in the season.
All right, my friend, last thing real quick. We've got 3 games on Thursday. Green Bay, Detroit, Washington, Dallas, San Francisco, Seattle. What's your favorite?
I like the San Francisco-Seattle game. Seattle lost a close game to the Rams this past weekend. They're going to be looking to come back in their division opponents, so they always play each other tough. But San Francisco seems to have gotten their mojo back. They've gotten some guys back from injury, and Brock Purdy is just really playing almost flawlessly. I'm looking forward to seeing that game.
Me too. Jeff Moore, thank you so much. I know you joined from afar. We'll see you in studio next week. And a very happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, Dave. See you next week.
You got it. That is Jeff Moore, our friend on the National Football League. He's brought to you by Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. If you are ready to pull the trigger on that dream home, here's a guy that, well, he and his dad have been in the business for 70 years. They've seen it all. They've built so many beautiful palaces all around the Memphis area. Go to kengarland.com, see what I'm talking about. If you've got land you're not sure how to utilize, they have the wisdom. If you're looking for land, they've got it. If you're looking for a renovation because you don't want to move, you love your lot, you love your location, but you want modern amenities, he's the king of renovation with innovation. All the newest technology, the media rooms with the wireless in-the-wall speakers, the incredible California cabinets, or closets, the island in the kitchen. They got it all. Every amenity, they make your wonderful old location a new modern palace. All you got to do is call him, 751-1632. He's fun to talk to. 751-1632, or go to kengarland.com. See what I'm talking about. The place to build that dream home or renovate with all the innovative new stuff. It's Ken Garland. We're back in a minute. Jarvo will end our Tuesday. A little different. Jarvo's here. He's next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee must finance through Hyundai. Forte LXS PE 694,095, MSRP 21,610, Sportage R722, 7239, MSRP 28,715, EVP 560, 3393, MSRP 50,200, includes all rebates and incentives, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2023 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Got Jeff Allen here from Gossett Kia, South Mount Moriah. Hey Jeff, you ready for the holidays with the season of giving back?
I'm ready to give out some great holiday gifts and save you some big bucks. Perfect for the holiday road trips. 41 MPG Highway in a new 2023 Kia Forte LXS $229 a month. $27.99 due at sign. signing. Or a big family that needs more room? 2024 Kia Sportage LX with class-leading cargo room and rear seat legroom, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing.
What about an EV?
2023 Kia EV6 Wind, 134 City, 101 Highway, MPGE, $379 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus a free charger with your EV purchase and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Make this season extraordinary when you shop the spectacular holiday collection at Sissy's Log Cabin during the sales tax paid weekend, November the 24th through the 27th. From engagement rings to designer jewelry, you'll save on gifts everyone will love, all while enjoying the Sissy's promise of unmatched service and experience at any of our 6 locations or online at sissyslogcabin.com. Embrace the magic of the season only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Memphis's oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Man, it feels like the holidays, doesn't it? Feels like fall for sure with the way the weather's been. Leaves falling everywhere. We got all kinds of good things to talk about, but it's like Christmas today a little bit with Fred Smith stepping up, giving $50 million, largest single donation, I think, to the University of Memphis ever. It is all for renovations of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. The university will now have the ownership of the stadium. They got to match $50 million. That triggered the Grizzlies to okay everything. They're going to take, Memphis will get, the stadium will get $120 million, football stadium, and now the 230, about two-thirds of the money, will now go to the Grizz. And apparently they have signed off on that. The city council is meeting today to say everything is okay. Memphis still has to match now. They got to get $50 million more to make 220. I'm sure they will do that. But it's quite the day, a historic day for sure. I just got a text from a guy who's a pretty hardened kind of a guy, a realistic kind of guy, who said Fred Smith's a hero. I kind of tend to agree with that. Jarvis Greer joins us now. You've seen the news, Jarvo. Your thoughts?
Wow, that's something great to wake up to this morning. I mean, I always called it Fred X because of what Fred Smith has meant to this city. But, and back when Memphis was trying to get in the Big 12 the first time, remember when they didn't expand?
Yeah, right.
They just did that move to try to get more money out of ESPN and keep their numbers at 8. Fred Smith had made the big offer to sponsor their championship game, the league's championship game and all that. And they were calling us, well, we're trying to buy our way into the league, and you can't do that. And, well, a couple of years later, SMU does just that with the ACT.
Different league.
It's like what and at that time I was saying, well, Fred, just sell a plane. One of your older models you're going to sell anyway. Like you've gotten your use out of. Just sell a plane. My wife informed me, well, no, you can't do that because it's a publicly traded company, and everything has to be this and that. So to come from the Fred Smith family, and that's just the thing. Another reason to see like where would Memphis be without that man and that company?
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great thing that he's decided to step up. Now there's still a lot of strings and a lot of I's and O's and T's to be crossed, dotted, and all the rest of that stuff. Like, now if the university gets, if Memphis can raise the other $50 million, this is a matching donation.
Right.
But now, they usually don't do those unless they feel like they can do it. Somebody doesn't usually put up that kind of money unless, and you got the plans.
And let's be honest, they got a period of time to do it. I mean, they needed this now in order to basically make your pitch to the Grizzlies. Take the $230, you'll figure it out with taxes, you'll get your money, let alone Robert Perra worth $19 billion. He could put some money in there, like the Adams family is doing in Houston. But now you've got time. You can start this project so that the prices don't go up. And so I suggest, or I suspect, I should say, that after the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on December the 29th, they will start work on Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium like the 30th.
Yeah, and that's like, they had to do this now so they could go ahead and start buying the bonds and all the rest of those government things that they were working. The people wanted to say, well, the Grizzlies, they were holding up hostage and all that stuff. Some of the devil in those details were, it's not just the money that they're getting from the state. They were going to have to raise this and raise that locally and tax this and tax that. And they were going to put a tax on tickets to Grizzlies games. And the Grizzlies said, no, they didn't want to do that because that would raise the price of their tickets. And they've already gone up, since last season, especially since they've gotten good. They didn't want to hit their own ticket holders, with another price increase on top of the one that they just did. So, it's all about give and take. And we will see, I'm pretty sure Robert Perra throwing some extra money that way and the Grizzlies owner into some things that they want to do. Not just
I hope so. I do, because if you look, most ownership groups have put some investment, some money into their own teams. The guy got it for $360 million. It's now worth over $2 billion since he bought the team. He's never put any money in it. He's now worth $19 billion. I would love to see an investment in this town. It's not his hometown, but in his city where he's got a team. I'd love to see him invest in some of that, and he's certainly got the cash to do it.
Well, there's some things that are in the works that won't be on FedEx Forum property, but will have to do with like things for the Grizzlies as far as training facilities and stuff like that. That's in the works, and it's like these are things that maybe that I don't know, but you look at things that have been done in other places, and these are things that could be done here that, the city would not have to pay for, city and county would not have to pay for, that the team would pay for itself. But like I said, devil's in the details, but at least you got an agreement between the two factions and the city.
And Fred Smith was the peacemaker.
Right. And, hey, we're getting ready to head to the airport, Wednesday to head to Philadelphia? You pass by.
So don't go on Wednesday. Go Thursday, please.
Thursday, right. Yeah. That's right, Thanksgiving Day.
You retire, I guess you lose track of time. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow are our coaches' meetings, Jarvo, and then Thursday we leave. Don't go Wednesday.
What I meant was, what I was trying to say out of that was, we passed by FedEx going to the airport, and you look over there and you see all those planes. And you see the super hub, and you see the, 30,000 some odd employees at the hub, and then the other employees that are like administrative people and all that. FedEx is like the largest employer, one of the largest employers in the state, other than state government. And you see all that, and you see that's right here in Memphis. And you just say, we're blessed to have that here. and it's a blessing for the university. It's a blessing for the city. And I think that, the other things that FedEx has done throughout the years here, the golf tournament, they basically saved the golf tournament.
Oh, yeah.
No
doubt. And as long as they stay the title sponsor, I think I feel good about Memphis's participation in the playoffs. Because
that was a caveat for them staying in it. Look, you give Memphis one of the playoff, whatever the golf playoff thing is called now. It was one thing the first year they had it, but then they got into the next tier, which is all great and gravy. And you got to thank FedEx for that. They're a powerful sponsor, and what people listen when FedEx, asks a question, people listen. What was that? The old that old commercial? I forget. J.P. Morgan or something or other.
Yeah.
But when FedEx is on the scene, people pay attention. And it was like when Michael Heisley had the team in Vancouver, the Grizzlies, and was looking to move so he could, make American money because he's paying out American money. It was a fight between Louisville and Memphis. And it was Louisville's Yum Center, that's Taco Bell and all the rest of that, Yum Properties or whatever the name of that corporation is, against FedEx. But look who won that deal. And there was no question. If FedEx puts its weight behind something, 99.9% of the time, FedEx is going to win.
I like him in my corner, that is for sure. All right, when you go to the airport on Thursday, you get ready for a game that the Tigers will see if they're deflated or if they're not. They're taking on a Temple team that has nothing to play for. They're 3-8. They've only won one conference game. That was against Navy. They even lost at Tulsa. They were beaten 55-0 by the same team Memphis saw last week, SMU. Their defense gives up 35 points a game. They got a good quarterback, though. E.J. Warner is dangerous. He averages 305 yards a game. That's the most in the American.
Kid, right?
I think so, yeah. It is, yeah.
Yeah, former St. Louis Rams quarterback. But, first let me say, Joey caught the ball. I will always say that. Take anything in there, but I also know
Joey will be there. By the way, he's an assistant coach, grad assistant coach
now with the Tigers. Yeah, and it's like Tigers have not fared very well in Philadelphia. Even though, as I told you, that's my favorite stadium to go to, the Link in Philly, because that whole South Philly sports complex is just awesome.
It's a great ballpark, no doubt.
Yeah, but it's a great ballpark, and everything is set. Tigers can win nine wins. You can close out the regular season with 9 wins. I think it's only been done 10 times in program history that a Tiger team has had 9 wins. And if you do that, there's only been 2 other times. I think 2 or 3 other times.
Three other times. Only Norvell and Fuente and Ralph Hatley.
Yeah,
they're the only 10-win coaches.
So
Silverfield be 4th.
So there's still a lot of good things to play for. It's tough playing in Philadelphia for Memphis, has been traditionally. I know that. Remember that Miami Beach Bowl team had to go down to a last-second Jake Elliott field goal up there on the road to get to be able to get in that, and that was tough against the Temple team that was just okay. So and the Tigers always make it bring your heart medicine. I'll say that. They always seem to have a way to make things exciting at the end of the game, but I would think that, T.J. Warner can throw, but up there 305 is Seth Hennigan is up there. He had a 400-yard passing game. He's got 17 300-yard games. That's the most in Tiger history. The offense is humming. The defense actually played pretty well against Tulane. People thought that, not Tulane, SMU. People thought that SMU was going to boat race the Tigers. At least the odds makers did. And the defense actually played a pretty solid game against one of the top 10 ranked offenses in the country. So I'd say I'm feeling good about it, but of course I won't feel good until triple zeros are on the clock and that Thanksgiving turkey is.
I'd like to see 400 again passing from Mr. Hennigan. That would be a great way to end this regular season. Jarvo, happy Thanksgiving. Of course, I'll spend Thanksgiving with you, but happy to all of your family, and I'll see you at the meetings tomorrow. Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, you too, Dave. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there.
That is Jarvis Greer. He's brought to you by Ken Eflin. Matt Eflin. Tough day today. I'm so excited about the Fred Smith news. It's brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Company. They do insurance the collaborative way, and Matt and all of his crew, Grant, Andrew, or Heath, there is no Ken, Grant, Andrew, or Heath, they will take care of you by getting to know you. They'll find out about you and your family, what's important to protect, what your budget is, and then they do. They are security for you with your home, with your auto, with life insurance. I tell you, they protect you. Same thing with small to mid-sized businesses. If you've got one of those, they'll get to know your employees, your product. They'll forecast you out a little bit, what your budget is, and then they find the commercial insurance that is perfect for you. All you got to do is make the call, 901-386-4777. That spells out GER because they're big Tiger supporters. Get protected the right way, the collaborative way. Let the folks at Eflin get to know you by calling that number, 901-386-GER, the Eflin Insurance Team. That'll do it for us. We'll see you bright and early again tomorrow morning. Johnny Radio comes your way next. Have a great day, everybody.